Is the Ranger Raptor really worth almost $60,000, and should I consider buying one? I'll figure that out in today's video. I'll include a link to the Ford here in Spanish Forks website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Bryson. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 3-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It puts out 405 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy 16 around town, 18 on the highway. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now the Ranger Raptor has these little vents there at the top of the hood, and then you actually just have normal headlights. It's got the C shape for them, but it does have the chunky Ford lettering in the grille, and then it also has underbody protection. And the reason this doesn't have the marker lights is because it is not over 80 inches wide. Tire wheel setup is 285 by 70 by 17. This has the new BFG KO3s, and you'll notice the metallic gray wheel there. In normal Raptor fashion, we've got chunky fender flares, and the fenders are also wider, and then you've got venting there. We've got these big Raptor side steps, and of course a Raptor decal out back. This is a horrible viewpoint, but you do have Fox shocks with this too. And there's your side profile, and just like an F-150 Raptor, it's got a really cool stance front to rear. The rear is a little bit higher than the front, but it's pretty level overall. With the key fob, we've got our lock and unlock function, remote starts on it, and then we've got the Raptor logo on the back. When it comes to the tailgate, it is dampened, so it slow lowers. We've got an outlet in the bed, and then we already have protection from the factory. There's also a little ruler here on the back of the tailgate too. I like the Ranger's new taillight design. I think that's pretty sharp looking, and then you just have a little Raptor logo and a bigger Ford logo beside that. We also have a special bumper just like up front, and then a big recovery point. When it comes to the exterior, I think the Ranger Raptor looks really good for a midsize. Let's now pop inside. We've got soft touch trim here and down below with the stitching, and then more storage at the bottom. I like these seats. The little red accents here make it look a little bit sportier. Not exactly a flat load floor, but there is some storage underneath the seats. That legroom, just like most midsize pickup trucks, not great. And then you can see we do have some USB ports and an outlet here in the back. And then headroom back here is actually surprisingly good. Let's now pop up front. Got this cool kind of like soft touch trim up top, and then more nice trim down below. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. We've got our memory seat functionality, and then you've got your power folding mirror function too. 1339 is the payload capacity. Raptor there on the front seat, really aggressive bolstering. The seats are power adjustable. They also have lumbar support. Got all of our light controls off to the side, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. And start her up. Got this cool Raptor style steering wheel with a marker there at the top and kind of chunkier grips all around with paddle shifters on the back. We've got adjustments for the steering, for the suspension, the exhaust. You even have a custom mode, and then controls for the center stack phone controls. Adaptive cruise control and volume controls there on the other side. Full digital gauge cluster here in the center. It's pretty customizable in terms of the information that you can display in the center. And then you also have a bunch of drive modes, which will pop up here in the center for both on-road and off-road use, as well as towing too. This does have a 360 camera. The view's a little bit smaller because of the vertical orientation of the screen. And I hope you like the screen because this controls a lot of items in the Ranger Raptor. For example, you've got the climate controls here at the bottom with the heated seats and heated steering wheel function. You do get some physical buttons though for the climate. But then if we pop up top and click on the vehicle tab here, a lot of functions like auto holds, and then if you go to the off-road tab, the off-road camera, but stuff like the locking diffs, the off-road cruise control, all of that is built into the screen. But I will say something that's nice is the screen is quick to respond. Now this does have trailer brake controls built in from the factory. You also get a wireless phone charging pad and some USB ports too. Shifter here for the 10-speed. We've got some cup holders right next to it, and then a parking brake behind that. Drive mode / drive line select. So this does have two-wheel drive, but it also has auto, high, and low. So it's got everything you want. And then these are basically shortcut buttons. So for your parking assist, auto stop, start stability control, and then that thing that looks like a truck off-roading, that pulls up the off-road page on the center infotainment system. I actually like the lid here on the center console. Pretty similar to like a Wrangler in terms of the storage. Nice trim there. Something that's really cool about the Ranger Raptor, or the Rangers in general, is you got top glove box, and then you got bottom glove box, and then you have more storage there on the dash too. And then this has 6 auxiliary switches. No sunroof though, so we do have a power sliding window. We've got the little button to open and close it there. So here's our window sticker for this Ranger Raptor 2025. There's not a lot of equipment you can add to the Ranger Raptor other than like basically bedliner and a few other things. $58,135 is the total MSRP. Let's see how she performs. Well, Ranger Raptor. So this is like a normal car review, but also I've had a lot of people suggest, because I've been wanting to get rid of my junky Toyota Land Cruiser, the new one. My old one's great. The new one, though, not great. A lot of people have suggested Ranger Raptor because it's actually, right, quite a bit less money than a lot of other off-road vehicles in today's world. Super capable. It has diff locks front and rear, and it's got pickup truck capability too. So we'll drive it, and I'll kind of talk about my thoughts on the Ranger Raptor, pros and cons. There's really only a couple things that I've got big beef with when it comes to the Ranger Raptor. Now, something that I definitely don't have beef with is the powertrain. This V6 is so cool. It is so cool. It's got tons of torque, and it's very responsive. I love the steering in the Ranger Raptor too. It's very, by the way, I gotta pull this out a little bit. It's very quick to respond, and it also has like a nice weight to it, so it just has a sportier feel in general. You can change the steering feel too. You know, that's customizable with these electronic racks. I will say the ride quality with this is great. Like, this would be a great daily driver. And that's the thing about Raptors that's really nice, is they do make for wonderful daily drivers when it comes to suspension comfort. Now, the KO3s are actually pretty impressive tires. I've seen a lot of tests on them. I wish I could do more tests myself. I just need to buy a pair and put them on one of my vehicles. I'll get there eventually. But yeah, it seems like these tires are pretty darn good. One thing about BFGs that's nice is they're a little bit softer, so it helps out with kind of ride quality. But it also means that they typically wear out a little bit quicker. Yeah, I love the steering in this thing. It feels very, very sharp. And we're not even in the... Let's pop into the sport mode. I think I went the right way. Yep, there we go. Not even in the sport mode. Yeah, it's crazy. This is the thing that's cool about Raptors is, like, this is a pickup truck, but like you kind of drive it like a sports car. I mean, literally, this is body and frame with a solid axle in the back. This is like not sporty at all, but it does drive really sporty. The Fox shocks help out quite a bit too. Oh man, it's quick. And you can get the Ford Performance tune to give even more power, which is very appealing if you ask me. Then you got a vehicle that's got mid 400s in terms of the horsepower. I need to check the weight. I forgot to check the weight on the vehicle, but it doesn't weigh all that much too. And the transmission's razor sharp. Pop back into normal mode here. So the Ranger Raptor, in terms of off-road mid-size pickup trucks, it's the king right now. Like, nobody's really, like, it's cool that GM has 35s on the Colorado and Canyon, but like, that 4-cylinder ain't competing with this thing. It's just, this thing's crazy. So here's the things that I think are a downside with this. First off is the back seat situation. I couldn't take my kids anywhere in this. It won't fit a car seat. It's too small. Mid-sized pickup trucks don't have enough space. It's one of the reasons why I like SUVs, because they typically reserve a little bit more space for the passengers than pickup trucks. The next problem is actually the off-road angles on this. So I don't do as much high-speed off-roading anymore. I do a lot more low-speed where angles are more important, and pickup trucks are, you know, this is a big vehicle. This is, I think 209 inches in length. I can't remember what the wheelbase is, but you've got a longer wheelbase, so worse breakover, and you have a pretty, this is the same size as like a Toyota Sequoia. This is a big vehicle in terms of length. So that's great for stability, high speed, and all that kind of stuff. But for tighter trails, the Ranger Raptor's great for a pickup truck, but it's definitely a little bit of a more difficult situation for, you know, compared to an SUV, I would say. So that is definitely something that I do see as a little bit of a downside with this, is the size and then the cab space. And then getting a hold of one would probably be pretty difficult. Dealers either charge over MSRP on these, or you've got to wait like a year to get one. I don't know if supply is starting to increase a little bit. Sometimes that happens, you know, as a vehicle goes through its lifespan, where, you know, people that wanted one already get one. So then, you know, like F-150 Raptors and Bronco Raptors, you can get them pretty easily now, because most people that wanted them have already gotten them. So I don't know, there's a lot of pros and cons. It would be cool to have a pickup truck to have the bed capability and everything. I also don't need it. I use SUVs for pickup truck stuff, so I've gotten used to that. But let me guys think. Oh, also the last thing is the traction control system. Ford's traction control system is not all that great. So it's like you have to use the diff locks a lot in this, which I don't necessarily mind using diff locks. Do we not have a camera? Oh, we have it on the screen. I hate that. That's another thing. I hate how everything's in the screen. Manufacturers need to stop doing that crap. But yeah, you got to use the diff locks a lot more, which isn't the end of the world. But that's another thing that's kind of, it's like, why am I paying for like, you're paying for a fancy traction control system with this, and it's a traction control system that is not, I don't know. It's not bad, but it's like, it's not Toyota, Land Rover, and Jeep level of grip. So, that's my thoughts.